Welcome to the Alertus webinar series. Today's session will provide an Alertus emergency mass notification system overview, including a look at one of our new innovative products, the panic button. We ask that you please hold all questions to the end of the webinar. However, feel free to type any questions in the chat box during the presentation, and we'll be sure to come back to those during the Q&A at the end of the session. I'd now like to turn it over to today's webinar presenter, Alertus's National Sales Director, Ryan Ockley.
Thank you very much, Jamie, and I appreciate everybody taking the time out of the day to join us here. This is the first of many in a series of webinars. We'll be introducing the Alertus products as well as highlighting key functionality and new additions. There's, as Jamie mentioned, the panic button is one of the focus. There's a few that activation modes, capabilities, anything from a hard wired button all the way through a software-based button. So there's a few new things here. I see from the attendee list there's a collection of both existing customers, prospective customers, if you're taking a look at the system to see if it fits your needs, as well as engineers out there in the community. So we'll have a little bit of everything in this, overview for everyone. So I'll go ahead and review the overview for the presentation, the agenda. We're going to do just a basic background on Alertus. So if you're brand new to Alertus, hadn't seen much from us, you'll get a quick idea of where we came from, how we started, and kind of what our vision and mission is. As well as we're going to then go into a lot of the emergency notification challenges that are out there. So these are challenges that you have as an emergency manager, as an IT director, as a security director, whatever your focus is. You've got a lot of assets out there to be able to get the word out in an emergency. We've got a way to bring those together and make them very effective to notify. So we'll talk through some of those challenges that you may be encountering. Additionally, we'll talk a little bit about codes and market demand. This is an area actually where codes are trying to catch up with market demand. Individuals out there in your facilities, your buildings, your campuses, they demand and require that they have a certain level of safety and security when they're in your facilities, in your business, place of business, those kind of things. So the market demand for this is actually driving the codes and helping the codes to evolve. We'll also touch on a Alertus Solution overview. So we'll touch on all the different capabilities, how we bring to bear our software and hardware and our full solution to solve the challenges that you face, as well as the focus on the panic button. And that panic button also we'll take some time to demonstrate those, in which case we'll fire up the webcam here in our demonstration lab, and we'll go through and show you a couple of the different activation modes, be it a software-based all the way through a hardware-based panic button option. And then we'll wrap up from there. So I'll jump in. Quick background on Alertus. We're a pioneer and leader in integrated audiovisual facility alerting for all hazards. What does that mean? We're going to get the message into your facility to the individuals that are located in your buildings, your campus, in a very effective means so that just from their being there, they're going to get the message. That means they don't have to be signed up for a list. You don't have to have them on a phone dialing. You don't have to have their email. Just by them being in your facility, we're going to use key assets within your facility and coordinate those so that they are notified. So that's a big differentiator from some of the early solutions that people deployed using text and email. We do integrate with those things. We'll touch on that a little bit later, but we take it to the next level and make sure that those in your buildings are notified. So how did we get to where we are now? The company was founded in 2002, so it was way back before mass notification was the end topic, and we had all these events that are really driving mass notification as a priority for organizations. And that was driven by an event that went through the University of Maryland, which was a tornado. A tornado came through. It was unannounced. It wasn't planned, obviously. None of them are. It impacted campus to the point where it went through a mobile classroom and killed 2 students. Our founders were on campus at the time. They got together and said, how can we use technology, networks, and existing assets on campus to get the word out very efficiently, effectively? Hence, you have Alertus and the value we bring and the mission we provide for emergency notification. From that point on, we've deployed at hundreds of college campuses, many military bases, large facilities. We're in corporate industrial, healthcare facilities, So really across the board, even the U.S. Capitol here in the D.C. area where we're headquartered has deployed Alertus systems for key threats to the Capitol that they want to notify people to. Across the board, we're finding emergency notifications becoming pervasive throughout all industries. So some of the challenges that you face, you'll see here, we've got you as the emergency manager, security director. You've got all these different pieces of the puzzle, cable TV, alert beacons potentially, outdoor sirens, desktop pop-ups, fire panels, your website, Facebook and Twitter, all these things that you've got all pictured above kind of coming in here, as well as giant voice. So you've got probably a mix of a lot of things, IP phones. There's different ways to activate those. Different organizations maybe own and administer those things. How do you, as being leader of the emergency response, get that word out very effectively? So this is what a lot of organizations have challenges with. They'll go ahead and they'll do a test. They'll do run a scenario where we'll try to figure out how long does it take to activate everything. We've heard anything from 10 minutes to, say, 30 minutes to activate all different devices. So, getting your text and email out there, your voice calls, activating the outdoor giant voice, the website, going through your marketing and PR department maybe to get something posted on Facebook and Twitter. So we're talking upwards of 30 minutes to get all these things activated. Well, in an event like an active shooter, a tornado, some of those things that are immediate, that need a response immediately, that takes too long. So a lot of our customers have come to us, and we've solved that challenge of being able to integrate and activate everything very quickly. Some of the other challenges that a lot of our customers come across are, many different locations where there's no way to notify. So you have no assets where it be, no PA system, no fire system that allows you to do voice. You basically have what's in the building, the ability, somebody running around telling everybody, or relying on text, emails, so those kind of things. So we encounter that a lot. Buildings that aren't staffed 24/7. When there is an emergency, you need somebody that's somewhat trained in reacting to an emergency and staying cool and calm. You don't always have that with all your buildings. You don't have a security staff in them at 24/7. A lot of our college campuses, the buildings, you're lucky to have someone from campus, an administrator or something like that in there. Generally, it's just teachers, students, those kind of things. The other key driver or challenge we solve is those that have individuals with special needs, your ADA accessibility requirements to be able to provide audio-visual notification. This also dovetails with a lot of the codes driven at delivering as many different notifications and messages in a way that those with differently abled can still receive them. Loud environments, this could be a manufacturing environment, could be some of our customers have trades that they've got to alert to be able to do both audio and visual. Cell phones not being present or not allowed. Some of our DoD facilities, you're not able to take your cell phone into certain locations. Our classrooms, our campuses, having your cell phone on and going off during classroom could severely impact your ability to achieve the grade you want. Even as far as some of our hospitals as well, there's certain equipment that's very sensitive to cell phones, so you're not able to rely on just the email and text messaging, or you find that when you do those tests that a lot of times those messages are missed or aren't delivered to pockets of people. And also difficulty reaching visitors. How do you get individuals that stroll onto campus, come in to visit people there, our contractors, those kind of folks? How do you keep track of those and make sure those people are notified in addition to everybody else that's employed and signed up to be on your facilities? So there's really a lot of challenges out there that just a traditional text or email can't solve that Alertus can help to solve. As well as those challenges, we also see codes starting to evolve to make recommendations on how to solve those challenges. NFPA is one of the big codes that drives the private sector. So all your private facilities, those kind of things. Some of your state and local are also subject to that based upon the jurisdictions that adopt NFPA. And that provides recommendations on how to solve some of those challenges. Some of those recommendations include multiple modes of notification, audio and visual notifications, to coordinate those notifications as much as possible so there isn't conflicting messaging. It's a lot of common sense type guidelines that are evolving through NFPA. And then also, if you're more DoD or government-related facilities, the UFC, the Unified Facilities Criteria, has also evolved to address these and exactly how notification should take place in those areas. So between a lot of these challenges, the code's evolving with recommendations and guidelines, and also we're actually seeing what I mentioned earlier that's pushing codes is our individuals within your facilities, on your campuses, expect a certain level of safety when visiting your location or on the job. So that's really been a huge driver of it, just the changes in society, the expectations of individuals of safety when they're in your locations is really driving this need for emergency mass notification and to solve some of these challenges of making sure that the message goes out. It goes out in multiple modes. It's very effective. It reaches people in many different ways, depending on whether they have a smartphone on, when they don't, whether they are in a building, whether they're on a loading dock, whether they're in a lab that's very noisy. We still need to be able to get that word out to them. We had some discussions with the Navy Yard. That was one of the major incidents within the last year, and they actually had a challenge with when all the dust settled. People were actually still concerned about going back into that facility after the event. They wanted to see certain steps taken so that their safety was protected, those kind of things. It brought it top of mind. So really, even after an event, people want to have that feeling of being adequately notified, that they are safe, that even though there was an event on campus, that their best interests are in mind, and that they received the message and they were able to take the right precautions to keep themselves safe. So a lot of things playing into it, the challenges, these codes, and also the requirements within your organizations, people that visit your buildings and campuses for the expectation of safety and security. So now that I've built all that up, how does Alertus help to solve this challenge? What's the solution? How do we do that? Some of what we bring together is, one, a single point of activation. So we can speed that activation of your facility-based assets to one point of activation. That means a single message, a single voice, and one point of activation for very quick activation. So instead of being 30 minutes, as some organizations have measured, we're in the 1 minute or less, or even in most cases 15 to 20 seconds, as you'll see from our demo. In addition to providing that single point of activation to be able to give you all the control of your assets at your one finger point, at your fingertips, we also integrate to all notification assets. So these are things that you've deployed already on campus, be it a giant voice system, maybe it's a PA system you have access to, your VoIP phone system, your computer desktops. Be able to bring and integrate existing assets, things that you've invested in that have been key components of your notification system, be able to bring those together and integrate with those so that one point of activation provides the ability to cascade that message over all different endpoints. And then also fill the gaps with innovative alerting endpoints. This is where we'll talk about some of the things like our panic button, our alert beacon, our LED marquee, those kind of things that provide a notification capability where you don't have it, that give you the ability to retrofit buildings that you have that were built maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years or even longer ago, be able to retrofit that with a level of notification so that you can get the word out to those folks in those facilities. So really 3 key things: single point of activation, integration, which is huge, you'll see, and then fill the gaps with innovative alerting endpoints to be able to retrofit your facility. And as you see, kind of bringing that easy button together and stitching all those puzzle pieces that you have, individual activations and assets at your hand, bring those all together into one unified activation. So one of the ways that we accomplish that is through a multimodal approach. And you'll see here we've as we build out the diagram here, this really encompasses all our activation endpoints, software endpoints, hardware, and then also modes of activating. So you'll see up at the top there, one of our key endpoints is the alert beacon. This is part of one of those devices that fills the gap. You're able to retrofit facilities, provide audiovisual notification within your facilities, and this flashes sounds, displays a message, and gets attention and directs people based upon the message that you have, how to react to emergency, what the emergency is, and provides details thereof. That alert beacon also can be interfaced with a panic button, our hardwired panic button, which we'll get into a little bit more detail, and also our LED marquee. The LED marquee provides a larger form factor for notification, so if you're in a large classroom setting, cafeteria setting, you've got a big gathering, entryways, those kind of things. Instead of having to crowd around an alert beacon that's flashing and sounding on the wall, this provides a larger form factor, so you can notify a larger group of people within your facility. Those are some of those innovative endpoints that we provide. Some of the assets that we can leverage are things like your desktop computers. We're able to put a small client piece of software on every desktop computer and be able to take that over in the event of emergency. So we can some campuses have hundreds of PCs, some thousands. We've got customers with 30, 40, 50, or even more thousand PCs that suddenly give you access to those PCs, allow you to take those over an emergency and display that message. Those can be targeted. You can target it to certain individuals. You can target it to certain groups, buildings, floors, those kind of things. So it can be a very useful tool and also leverage a lot of the existing investments you have. The same goes for the digital signage interrupt. We've developed software that can go on multi-vendor digital signage systems. This takes over those flat screens that are normally displaying, the events that are going on. Maybe for our healthcare customers, maybe it's displaying patients, beds, patient rooms, those kind of things. We can choose and in a multi-vendor environment take those over. We find that's very useful for a lot of campuses because they'll add digital signage based upon when a different group has funding, when a building's built. So a lot of times you've got disparate systems. We've got software that will work across all those different signage systems and be able to take those over and deliver that message. So instead of having to go and activate 3 or 4 different signage systems, we consolidate that down to one activation which cascades to your digital signage system. And we're using the network connectivity there to do that. The next one, using existing assets, some campuses, our healthcare facilities, those kind of things, deploy cable TV throughout their organization, throughout the campus. We're able to interrupt that cable TV feed as well to display the message, just as if the emergency broadcast system was interrupting it from local and federal alerts. We can give you the power to do the same within your facility there as well. As you'll see, a lot of these endpoints that we've discussed up to this point are very text-based. Well, now we're getting into a few others here, our Giant Voice and our PA system integration with your Fire voice system as well, that are voice systems. Well, currently you've probably got to run somebody out to each one of these, or maybe a few of them are networked together. You got to get on there and somebody has to deliver that message. We're able to integrate into those systems by using our innovative text-to-speech module. We'll take the text that's coming into our system, convert that to speech, and plug that into any of your voice-based assets to provide a consistent message that's also very clear and concise. During the demo, you'll hear an example of that text-to-speech. We've more recently refined that text-to-speech, so you'll hear that it's very calm, very collected, and provides a very consistent message. We also optimize that for Giant Voice, those big outdoor speakers. In the event of emergency, a lot of times you want to try to talk really fast, get the message out really quickly. Well, with Giant Voice, that's really bad because you cause a lot of reverberation, a lot of echo. You actually need to slow down and speak with into those speakers in with certain pauses at a certain speed. We're able to optimize our text-to-speech to do that. So we're taking that human element out of the activation of your, say, your text-to-speech for your Giant Voice. We're taking that human element out of that so that we make sure that there's a consistent message that is as intelligible as possible and delivered in the best means possible under emergency conditions. So really that voice-based capability, that text-to-speech, allows us to leverage a lot more assets and your audio assets around campus. The VoIP phone interface as well, we're able to take over and sound the VoIP phones as well as display a text-based message on those VoIP phones to utilize those assets. Those a lot of times are in conference rooms. They're just another mode of being able to get people's attention. And say the desktop's off, the phone's on maybe a little bit more often than the desktop, that gives you another option as well. And then lastly, the fire alarm interface. This allows us to actually go in and leverage both and the codes support this, leverage both the voice capability, so the ability to jack into that system and make an announcement throughout the building, as well as be able to measure events coming out of that panel and create notifications throughout your campus, throughout your buildings as well, in addition to having that announcement go through. So if the fire panel goes into alarm, it's able to go into alarm and also widen that notification through the Alertus system by leveraging things like Alert Beacon, desktop, digital signage as well to add emphasis to that fire alarm. There's also the ability to interface with that fire alarm on a more granular level as codes permit, to be able to turn fire alarm messages off based upon priorities of messaging. So if you've got an active shooter, interface with that panel, the technology exists to be able to shut that down and then to give priority over, say, an active shooter message. A lot of times there's review because we're dealing with fire panel with your local code officials. We're experts in that and happy to help with that piece. So the integrations really allow and give you access to activate many different things within your within your campuses, your buildings, and make sure they're coordinated with the exact same message. In addition to that, I also want to touch on a few of these icons on the bottom, like our API. This is very heavy in our integrations, our ability to integrate with third-party systems. So many of our customers come to us and say, hey, we're using a text and email solution. We're reaching maybe 40–50% of our recipients. We need to implement an Alertus solution, but we don't want to add another activation point. Well, we'll integrate, and a lot of our partners in the text and email services provider space activate with and integrate with Alertus. So you can either choose for many of them to activate out of Alertus, so you've got a consistent message going across all mediums, or a lot of those partners have developed Alertus so that within their solutions you can do a check mark, select the Alertus system, and it cascades, so it provides a single point of activation. Some of those partners that we work with are Blackboard, Everbridge, Rave, Cassidian, SendWord Now. So quite a few of those, and we've got those on our website as well as different partners that we have API integration with. So definitely feel free to look those up as well. So we can coordinate those existing assets, some of those services that you have, as well as bring assets that aren't actually easy to activate a lot of times into one single activation and make that easy to do. Additionally, we've got Threat Watcher there. That gives you the ability to interface with things, web-based feeds. The most popular web-based feed that our customers use is NOAA weather alerts. So you can go through and use Threat Watcher to filter down your alerts so that you're only sending the alert for your specific zip code, your specific campus building, for specific events. So we can filter it down to just tornado alerts, tornado warnings, tornado alerts. You can filter out things like clean air or air advisories, temperature advisories, depending on the threats you have on your campus. And then you can determine exactly where you want those delivered. In the case of tornado warning, a lot of our customers will put that through to our desktops, to every device on campus. Some of them will just alert the security desk so that they can then assess the situation, decide whether to issue an alert from there. So we're able to pick up a lot of different web-based feeds and create a notification that again gets cascaded through all of your notification assets and services that you have. And then lastly, as part of integration, a big part of what Alertus focuses on is integration, and we're a full supporter of CAP, Common Alerting Protocol. This allows us to integrate with other systems that support this industry standard, which was developed out of FEMA in the IPAWS program. It allows us to support this and integrate with other systems that have supported this standard, receive messaging from systems that provide CAP-based messaging, and provide those out of the box integration day one. So this is part of the philosophy of Alertus system, to be as open as possible, utilize as many assets as possible, and then consolidate your activation to the most efficient means possible. So that gives you just kind of a high-level overview of the Alertus system, touching on each of the endpoints, how we accomplish some of that, and how they're controlled from the Alertus software interface. So here's where I definitely want to jump into and talk about our panic button solutions. These have been very hot lately because a lot of these emergencies that we need to get the word out for: tornado, weather-based alerts, active shooter, intruder alerts, lockdowns, all have to go out at a moment's notice. Some of our customers have provided feedback, say, hey, I don't have time to log into a web interface, even though I can access my web interface from any PC. I want to be able to have something just as quick as running up and pushing a button. One of our customers, actually a corporate customer, they wanted it to the point where they had 3 different panic buttons: one for weather warning, one for lockdown, and one for duress. Basically, they need to be able to need help, either medical emergency or you need the authorities need to be contacted. So they had it that simple, so that the employees that were able to activate that knew which button it was color-coded, can come up, push that, and it would activate immediately. Now the corporate security and emergency management could then intervene and then issue additional messages based upon the emergency, but that would get that out, allow people to react, and save lives there. So that's how one of our customers has deployed that. But really, with the Alertus panic button, there's 3 key features that I want to highlight. One is integrated. It's fully integrated with the Alertus suite of emergency mass notification products. It'll work with your existing systems. It'll work with the Alertus network. So as soon as you push that button, you can program and tell it exactly what to say, where to say it, and which devices to go out. It can also be activated outside of our system, and this was something I highlighted with, say, the fire panel. A contact closure from the fire panel can activate the Alertus system. We've also integrated the Alertus system with access control systems that have a panic button functionality where key individuals will be able to scan their ID card, put in a PIN code, and that'll activate a lockdown in the access control. We can integrate that with the Alertus panic button capabilities and take that same activation and activate a scenario. So we're able to integrate and activate all these devices from the simple push of a button. The next one is customizable preset alerts. This allows you to customize the alert that goes out for the panic button. So if you put a panic button in a chemical lab where you store chemicals, you can have that be a chemical spill. So whoever runs up to push that becomes a chemical spill activation. If it's say at a desk, a front desk, it could be a intruder lockdown, or just maybe a simple general lockdown where the security officer knows the front, if there's an issue, they need to put the building into lockdown, just push that button, immediately goes into lockdown. And you can decide how that message is structured as well. And then lastly, our custom event triggers. You can get very fancy and sophisticated based upon a button push. You can alert people in the building that panic button has been pushed, that they're in lockdown, and then send messages, a different message to the buildings around them to avoid going to that site, as well as also notifying the Emergency Operations Center, your security offices, your executives, your administrators. So we can use these custom event triggers and trigger multiple scenarios based upon a panic button. So not only are we notifying your individuals that are in the building, but we're also getting word back to the first responders, those that need to manage the incident. So we've got the best of both worlds out of that panic button push. We've got immediate response, and then the plan and professional response as well. There were multiple different versions, as I mentioned. The one I'm going to highlight first here is the physical panic button. This is a panic button that can be mounted in conjunction with our alert beacon. When this button's pushed, it communicates back to our software and runs a scenario based upon that. The demo I've got actually says where the button's located, what time it was pushed, and sends that back to all of our devices so that we can react accordingly. It's immediate, one step, easy. You don't have to do much training other than if this happens, go up here and push the button. So it's very quick to press. Pressing the panic button activates notification alerts and activates any of the assets that you've chosen with the message you've chosen. The next one, which is fairly new for us, is the USB-based panic button. This leverages our desktop capability to be able to communicate back with the server. So any PC that we have our desktop installed on can be enabled and set up as a personal duress capability. That could either be a hardwired or a USB button that wires back to the PC that you see here pictured. It can either be placed underneath a desk, on top of the desk, a key location, those kind of things. And this provides a very easy, simplified activation capability. At a touch of a button, you'll see this during the demo, the notification goes out. That can be customized, just as I mentioned earlier for our panic buttons, based upon who or where it's pushed, what device it's plugged into, so a specific computer could create a message. And then you can also trigger the series or number of messages you want based upon that panic button. So there's a lot of capabilities there as well. As well as the capability to do a software-based panic button activation. You'll see here, and I'll do this as part of the demo as well, the ability to press for help. You can create this for each of your users, each of the devices, or it could be a generic, duress button for anybody within the organization. When that's activated, you can control who gets notified, what the message is, and that cascades through your organization. So it's a software-based panic button that activates those key scenarios. And what also is you're able to do with this software-based duress button is also activate the hotkeys. So you can choose a combination of 3 different hotkeys. When those are pressed, it'll silently and automatically activate that. So you don't even have to have say a teacher, an administrator, office worker go over to a PC, bring it up, know to click on the icon. You could just have a policy of going in. For my demo, it's Control Alt F10. You do Control Alt F10, the activation occurs. So it's just that simple and that kind of a silent activation. So that goes through the 3 or 4 different activation panic button capabilities that we have there to be able to get the word out. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and we're going to fire up the webcam here in our demo lab, and I'll go through a couple of those activations. So you'll see here, if you want to get a little bit larger view on the camera, you're able to adjust your screen and minimize the presentation pane a little bit and see the actual activation webcam in a little bit greater detail. So I'm going to go ahead and so that you can see what's going on within our user interface in the activations, I'm going to go ahead and log into the Alertus user interface. And this is the web interface. You can control any of your presets, customize activations, those kind of things directly from the web interface. I'll bring that up so that you can see this as it's going active, the messages that are going active at the bottom of the screen there as we do these activations. So the first, which I touched on in the presentation, is our hardwired panic button. I'm going to go ahead and activate that. I've got one right here behind me. And you'll see it's plunger style. Go ahead and push that panic button. That'll activate, and you'll see both my desktop when active with the location and time. You can customize this message. I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge that so you can see it. Here's in the web interface, and we've got the active message. And we've got voice phones, alert beacons, and also as part of that one, we've got a message going to Twitter as well. So we've got activation going across the board there. And then we'll have text-to-speech chime in from there.
A panic button was pressed in the north lobby at 12:35 p.m. Provide immediate assistance.
So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that out. Standard procedures, I'm sure, for you would be to do an all clear. We'll do that with one of the last activations. The standard would be an all clear so that the emergency is averted, people know that the emergency is complete, and to move on with their day. So the next one is, we use the hard-coded or hardwired panic button. The next one is our USB panic button. I've got one right here. It was pictured there. I'll go ahead and push that. Now this one's set to an intruder alert. So this one will be a slightly different alert. But you push that, that communicates back, and you'll see, again, we've got all the devices going off, the alert. We've got the intruder lockdown triggered immediately from there. And this time, I'm going to go up and actually acknowledge a lot of devices so that I can silence them, and also we'll get a tracking of that. So we've got the VoIP phone going off. We'll acknowledge here.
A facility-wide intruder lockdown has been issued. Follow standard shelter-in-place procedures.
And then we've got the text-to-speech there.
To follow.
I'll acknowledge my desktop, and then you'll see that we've got the message active there on the system. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that message out as well. And then we'll jump into the panic button that's desktop-based. So this gives you the ability to either right-click the Alertus icon, and you'll see the press for help. That you can press that to gain assistance. That'll trigger the event, and you can build whatever scenario. I've got that same event triggered as our panic button. I'll go ahead and push for help there and trigger that. You'll see it goes active, and then all of our systems will then activate in the back there, and desktop's taken over. So it's very simple, very effective, very quick. Cancel that out real quick. And then the
wide intruder lockdown has been issued. Follow standard shelter-in-place procedures. More information to follow.
And then the last one I'll do is just hotkeys. So you'll see that I've got nothing going on my desktop. I don't have anything. I'm not pressing this. I'm just coming through here. Control Alt F10. Boom. A silent alert that gets that word out. If there's an incident, if somebody's sitting at a PC at a security desk, if they're at a wow, that one's definitely loud. If they're at a PC, they can do that very, very quickly and efficiently.
A facility-wide intruder lockdown has been issued. Follow standard shelter-in-place procedures. And more information to follow.
Acknowledge that. So real quick, I know we're not focusing a lot on our user interface and highlighting a lot of that, but I want to go ahead and pull up our presets. That's a quick, easy way to activate a notification. And we've got that intruder alert. I want to go ahead and replace that with an all clear so that we turn to normal activities just as you would do if you were managing an incident. And that'll highlight the fact that we'll have a different tone for the all clear. We've created a different profile, and also you'll see the alert beacon will be green instead of the red. So we'll go ahead and send that. We'll do the all clear.
Facility-wide intruder lockdown has been issued.
And then
follow standard shelter-in-place procedures.
And then we'll go ahead and I'll show you just a little bit of basic reporting, and we'll conclude from there. Okay, acknowledge these. And then that'll announce your all clear as well. So another thing to note. While you're in the event of this emergency, you want to say, all right, which devices have received the message, which ones haven't, what's my series of events. We've got an audit log of every message sent, including those that are initiated from the panic buttons. So right here we've got our all clear. We can verify that it went to all our locations, who was logged in, where they were logged in from. There's reports that include device activations, device acknowledgments, and recipients. So we can report on. I'm going to go ahead and cancel the all clear. I think that's cycled through a few times. We can view device activation, so we've got an immediate report on every device that went off. Let me jump into device acknowledgments. This would be acknowledgments. So each time I went over and acknowledged the alert beacon, we got an alert beacon acknowledgement back, and also the desktops. I acknowledged those, both the PC sitting in front of me and the desktop behind me. So you get statistics that are reported based upon who's acknowledging, which devices are being activated over time, and then an audit report that can be also exported via a CSV file to be exported through Excel, something like that. And then lastly, this one's fairly new, and that's our recipient report. We can actually go through and we can see who was logged into the different devices that received that. So if you get an individual that says, hey, I didn't get the message, we've got an audit log to show that. Lastly, a very valuable piece to the system, and that's our device status. I'd like to touch on that. That allows you to get a snapshot of the system at any one time. What's up, what's disconnected. So anything in white or light blue is connected, anything in red is disconnected. So you can have this report emailed to you. You can have notifications sent to you whenever devices go offline. So there's a good way to monitor that. And this reports back everything from the LED marquee or text-to-speech connected to an alert beacon to exactly where the device is on the network, so that if there is an issue, you can very quickly and efficiently troubleshoot it. So there's a combination, as you'll see, of audit log reporting and then also system functionality and readiness reporting. So you know the alerting system is at the ready at any one point in time. So at that point, this concludes the demo portion of the activation. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back into our presentation here. We've got, if you've enjoyed this and found this webinar very, very useful, we've got we've got upcoming webinars as well that'll be available. There we go. Upcoming webinars that'll be available. We've got the web page there that you can visit to see what some of those upcoming ones are, register for those upcoming webinars as well, and we hope that you join for future webinars. At this point, I'll turn it over to Jamie. She'll moderate some of the question and answer for the remainder of the session. I thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to your questions here.
So we'd like to open the floor up for any questions or comments. If you would, you can either type your question into the chat box, or you can also raise your hand, and we'll open up the mic for you so you can verbally pose your question. Looks like Jeremy Harris has his hand raised, so we'll select him. All right, Jeremy, go ahead.
Hello, Jeremy.
All right, well, are there any other questions? I did get a question from Eric Coles on the chat asking if we can send out any copies of the presentation. Absolutely. If you'd like a copy of the presentation, if you would, just email marketing@alertus.com. We'll be sure to send that your way so you're able to have that for your files. All right, we also have a question from Francis. All right, Francis, go ahead. You're unmuted.
I think we're having a...
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Francis?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? I think
Oh,
we
you can hear me? Okay,
I think we resolved the audio issue. Apologize for that.
no worries. I actually sent it in. Is there some sort of smartphone app, or can an alert be initiated from remotely by a phone of some sort?
Absolutely. We do have a smartphone app that was just released. We've got the ability to activate via smartphone for key activation individuals. So you can activate your presets, you can customize a message and activate that from either a Apple or Android device, as well as we've just come out with a push notification app. That app can push a notification just like you would, sports scores, any other notifications that come from apps to individuals uh, to notify them, almost like kind of a desktop or a phone takeover capability. That receiver app can also be integrated into other apps that you might have that you deploy for your organization. I've seen that very commonly colleges and universities have created an app where they'll embed our app within that, so that you download the university app. You're getting many different capabilities, functions out of that. One of those can be the Alertus push notifications as well. So
Very
yeah.
good. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Francis. We have a couple of questions that have been typed in, so we'll address some of those right now. Here's one from Rob. Are there possible liabilities from providing client software to all faculty, staff, students, but not having them all actually installed or working?
We haven't run across that as an issue. Generally, the installs are handled a couple different ways. One is pushed out either with group policy or through your desktop management software. So that allows you to control the install. You're able to then monitor all those PCs full time, so you've got the ability to report on those. The second is, if you've got guest users, we've had organizations require guest users to download or install certain software to be able to gain access, in which case that's automatically pushed. So that helps you to provide that capability while they're on your campus. And then thirdly, the software has been made available for those outside organizations to download as well if you decide to make that part of your policy. But we haven't experienced any liabilities related to that. More so because we're providing above and beyond. We're providing notification modes that they would not already have had, and providing a lot of value there. So we haven't run into that. Good question.
I should also mention that a question did come in asking if the presentation was recorded. It is, and we do plan to have that up on our website soon. So keep an eye out for that. If anyone would like a link to the recorded session, again, feel free to email us at marketing@alertus.com, and we'll be sure that we get you set up with that. Next question is from Mark. He asks, do the Alertus boxes offer different sounds depending on the message?
Oh, absolutely. There's 8 different siren tones that you can control, that you can set per message. You can also control those from anywhere from loud, which is 108 decibels, all the way down through silent. So loud, medium, quiet, or medium, low, and then silent. So you've got a lot of control there, as well as you've got a setting that allows you to space the tones. So you can space the tones within a few milliseconds, so it sounds very intense, or you can space those tones out with seconds or minutes between them, so that it notifies. As well as the alert beacon allows you to do a notification, be able to do initial setting, which could be very loud, your attention getter. You can set that for a few minutes, and then it can then go to a secondary setting where it maybe quiets down, beeps only every once in a while, those kind of things. So you've got a lot of control, and a lot of that's managed through alert profiles within the Alertus system. You can create these ahead of time. So you may want a intruder alert to sound different and utilize different assets and notification capabilities than, say, a weather alert or say a water quality alert. That you can create those ahead of time as well.
All right, looks like Lauren Connolly has her hand raised. All right, go ahead, Lauren.
Okay. Now you'd mentioned the mobile software. Is that going to also have any sort of remote management as well? Like for the interface that you showed in the web browser?
Yeah, it provides remote management in that it provides the ability to activate and manage those activations. So you can go in and either select presets that you have or modify
Right.
those. So if you need to add a little bit more details, but the mobile app doesn't get into any of the administrative, kind of setting those things up. It's more putting the power of the activation in the right person's hand at the right place.
Okay, so no device management or anything like that?
Oh no, I see what you're saying there. No, the first rev of the solution, activates all push notification, all apps that are in
Okay.
your system. Future revs will allow a little bit more management and targeting of that messaging.
All right, thanks, Lauren. Next question comes from Rob. He asks, do you have an API interface for Canvas LMS similar to Blackboard?
We haven't developed to their system yet, but there is the opportunity for them to develop to us as well. We keep that open. Definitely interested in your application there, so we'd like to talk more. We're always looking to add as many partners as possible to make sure that the breadth and width of our activations are the best possible.
Rob's follow-up question, does panic button have a lip around it or other way to prevent accidental activation?
Absolutely. This version has more of the button that you saw was a little bit raised. There's a version that can be ordered that's flush with that. The hardwired panic buttons have a clear cover on them so that they're not accidentally activated. And then we've also have a panic button that can go underneath the desk where you actually have to reach up into the panic button, slide your finger back, and so it's not even just a momentary push. You have to have a double action to be able to activate that. So absolutely, there's many different buttons we can support and use to ensure that there is an accidental activation.
Next question comes from Mike. I believe you have your hand raised.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mike.
Now, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
All right, thank you. My question is basically following up, piggybacking off that as far as the app, like the smartphone app. Is that passcode protected in any way in case, the wrong hands get it and they start pressing buttons and sending off alerts that don't need to be sent?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. There is a username and password for every administrator, and they use that passcode to get in and authenticate using the mobile app. So absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Lauren Connolly also has her hand up. Just a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a mistake on my end.
Oh, no problem. All right, next question comes from Jay. Says, for your mobile app, is it just notification? Can students or faculty also send us pictures of events?
And this first rev is just a notification. The next rev we're looking to enhance the mobile app further to be able to do communications back, send event related information, but not at this time. But that's definitely on the roadmap very soon to be implemented.
All right, so I think we have time for about one more question. This one comes in from Darren. He asks, does your Threat Watch integrate with Canadian notification agencies such as Environment Canada?
Absolutely. I appreciate that question. We just added the capability to integrate with the Canadian alert system. So absolutely.
Well, thanks everybody for joining today. As Ryan mentioned, we have a lot of great upcoming webinars. We've got them noted here. We've got 2 coming up in September. One's actually going to be with Washington University in St. Louis. They're going to be talking about their campus-wide notification solution, which should be a really great session. We've also got another mass notification systems overview coming up later next month This one will be focused a little bit more on our fire alarm integration solution. And then October, we're actually going to have a healthcare industry segment on emergency notification best practices. So if any of those sound interesting, check out our website, www.alertus.com/Alertus webinar series. You're able to look at our full offering of upcoming webinars, and you're able to register if you find anything that you're interested in. Also, if you have want some more information on the panic button, we do have a panic button page up on our website, www.alertus.com/panic button. And finally, if you have any questions or comments regarding the webinar, again, if you're interested in getting the presentation or a video recording, please do email marketing@alertus.com, and we'll be able to help you out. So thanks again, everybody, for joining.
All right, thank you.